Hi everybody, welcome to Smart Cookie. Today we are making a 20-layer cake. That's right, but it's not any cake. It is a crepe cake. It's taking over the internet. It's taking over my show. Here we go. First things first, all of the eggs. So many eggs, all of them. Crepes are considered a French national dish. In fact, crepes are so popular in France that there is a National Crepe Day on February 2nd. They tell you that the crepe maker in your family should hold a coin in their dominant hand, and with their non-dominant hand, they should try to flip a crepe. And if it lands right side up, then you're supposed to have a prosperous year. So we'll see if I can flip a crepe. I can't, but we'll try. We've got eggs. We're gonna add some sugar, almond extract, some vanilla. Got to have some salt. And now we're gonna add some milk. We're gonna blend up all of our wet ingredients real quick. Oh boy. It doesn't sound very pretty. The thing with the crepe batter, you've got equal parts milk and flour. So we had 3 cups of milk and now we've got 3 cups of flour that I'm gonna attempt to make fit in this little blender. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna try it. If this explodes, it's gonna be amazing. Okay, so we've blended our crepe batter. Now, here's the key. I would recommend letting this chill overnight. It's gonna help all of the extra air bubbles come out. It's gonna make your batter a lot easier to work with. So this is kind of a 2-day process. I am sorry in advance, but if you're in a time crunch, at least let it rest for 4 hours, but overnight is preferable. So, we are gonna transfer to an airtight container. Gonna go let this chill for a while, be back. Look at that. First things first, we're gonna give this a little whisk, but gently. We don't wanna add too much air back in there. This is just to help with any separation that may have happened. I'm gonna give it a little gentle whisk. Okay, so I've got a non-stick 10-inch skillet over kind of medium-low heat. We don't need these to be super hot. Now, the other thing I've got is some melted butter. And we don't need to do too much, just enough to coat the pan. Smart cookie fact of the day, crepes do come from France, and specifically they come from the Brittany region of France, which is a little bit more England-ish, I would say. It's on the coastline, and the coastline of Brittany is really rocky. It's hard to grow things, including wheat, but buckwheat grew really well in that region, and so buckwheat flour was the original flour used for these crepes. So they were basically grinding it up, making flour out of the buckwheat, and then making these little thin pancakes with it, and that's where the crepes come from. And technically, Americans don't pronounce it right. It's not a crepe, it's supposed to be pronounced crepe. But we're not fancy here, so we're gonna call it a crepe, okay? We're gonna start with a 1/4 cup measure. We're gonna get 1/4 cup of our batter, and this is how I make crepes. You might know someone that is a professional crepe baker and they do it different, that's great. So I take my pan off the heat, pour it into one side, down and swirl. Swirl, and then you put it right back down. So these take about 30 seconds to a minute to get golden brown, and then we flip them. I think we're in a good spot, so I'm just using flexible spatula, up and flip. See, easy as that. Golden brown and yummy. It's a tiny pancake crepe. Okay, golden brown on both sides. And then we add more butter, and we do it again. Now the great thing is, you now get to make 20 of these because we're making a crepe cake. So if each of these takes a full, minute or 2 to make, that means you've got a full hour of crepe making. You're gonna be fine, don't worry about it. Put on some music, your favorite podcast. Maybe you're like me and you only wanna listen to true crime, and your significant other thinks that that's weird. Whatever. He likes sports radio, which I think is weird. I like to listen about people being murdered. To each their own. That's right. People that are playing sports are out for blood. That's true. That is so satisfying. Flipping that crepe is so satisfying. Let's make a couple more, huh? While we're here. Can I try to flip one? Yes. You're expecting height here? Let's try to flip it. This is not gonna work. I can tell already. Here we go. No! It folded! Oh, my family's not gonna be prosperous this year. Ugh. Okay. Ah! Now that we have made all of our crepes, let's make our filling for our crepe cake. This is really good. It's like a take on strawberries and cream. So we're gonna start with some heavy cream, 2 cups, powdered sugs. Whisk it up. Perfect. Look at that whipped cream. We're gonna add some cream cheese to this, but I will say with the caveat that we're using whipped cream cheese that's already got a little bit of air in it. More of this lovely noise. Here it comes. So we've got our cream cheese and our whipped cream mixture. The final step is we're just gonna fold in about 1/3 cup of seedless strawberry jam. We've made our filling and now gotta go get all of those amazing crepes that we made. Okay, bye! I'm back! We're gonna use this fancy spatula. Put a little bit on the board. And then we're just gonna start stacking. So try to center up on your cake board. And in between each layer, you're probably gonna put about 2 tablespoons of this filling. You're just gonna spread this out evenly on top of your crepe. So while you're in the process, especially when you're about like 1/3 or halfway through, you just wanna make sure that this is staying pretty level. So while you're spreading your layers on, you'll wanna make sure that you've got the right, kind of the same amount of frosting between each layer, and then just make sure that you're stacking these evenly so you don't have a cake that's cattywampus. That's a word. Cattywampus. Okay, so now that we're about halfway through, I think we're gonna transfer to the cake stand and we'll come back and we'll finish with the garnish. Bye. Look at that. So we're gonna do a little bit more on top for the last layer. Just looking for some artful swirls on top, that's all. And that's it to this. So now we're just gonna add a couple of strawberries on top. There are a whole host of edible flowers that you can use to garnish in cakes or even in cakes. These are some violas, and we're just gonna clip these little guys. So we've got our last little flower guy. And now comes the real wow factor because we're gonna cut into this thing. First of all, I have to tell you, it feels so satisfying to cut through this because you get to cut through all 20 layers and then it looks so cool on the plate. So here we go. So you can kind of tell like there's that chewy texture and then you can also hear the crispiness. Crepe cake! All right, let's take a bite of this guy. It's kind of a fork and knife kind of cake. It's chewy and a little crunchy, and that strawberry cream cheese and whipped cream is so like light and fluffy. If you enjoyed today's recipe, make sure that you tell me, like, share, subscribe, comment, ring the bell on YouTube, all of those things. And if you are an expert crepe maker, please let me know. I would love to hear about your techniques. Okay, see you guys later. Nomming it up in Nomtown. Yeah.